The worst horror movie I ever saw was fucking great.
Hello and welcome to This May Hurt a Bit. My name is James Strayer and this is
John C. Myers.
And we're a horror franchise podcast discussing each film in horror franchises. And today we are talking about Warlock 2, The Armageddon from 1993. But first and most importantly, we have a special guest. He is the director of Psycho Goreman, The Void, Frankie Freako, and the forthcoming Deathstalker remake. Buckle your freak belts, everybody. It is Stephen Kostanski joining us on the show today. Welcome to the show, Stephen.
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me. I can't wait to chat Warlock 2.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're fans of your films over here, and we have a mutual friend in Stuart Wellington of the Flophouse podcast.
Oh, Stuart rocks.
Yeah, he's been on the show, and it's funny because last year we almost crossed paths because I had a short film playing at the Fantasia Fest where you premiered. Oh, yeah. Frankie Freako, because Stuart was texting me about that, and he was just like, I'm going to be up there a day before. Can you adjust your flight? And I was like, no, can't do it, unfortunately. But yeah, that would have been a lot of fun. How was that premiere for you?
It was great. It was exactly the kind of crowd response I wanted to Frankie Freako, where it was like lots of laughs and good engagement, but also just genuine bewilderment, especially in the climax of the movie.
Yeah.
Like there's some big reveals. I don't want to spoil it if anyone listening hasn't watched, but there's a big reveal at the end that is complete nonsense. And the crowd reaction to that moment was very satisfying, especially one guy off to the side that very loudly just went, "What?" So that just felt really good to me. As I age as a filmmaker, more and more I'm into it just for like the trolling aspect, and being able to just like work somebody up that much is so satisfying to me.
Does that inform a lot of Deathstalker? That same kind of mindset?
I mean, Deathstalker, some of my shithead attitude permeates it here and there, but it's very much more like the heartfelt filmmaker in me, I think, carries through from Psycho Goreman and Frankie Freako into Deathstalker. I'd say Deathstalker has a little bit, like just a sprinkle of like the Void darkness at times, but like it is very much a fun movie, like a fun ride in the vein of like a Psycho Goreman more than anything. I just wanted to cram all the fantasy shit that I love into one movie, extending way beyond even just movies. It was also just very much influenced by fantasy video games as well. As I was writing it, I was playing Hexen on the N64 and having a very frustrated time.
Nice.
A very frustrating game. So yeah, I think there's definitely elements of that sprinkled throughout Deathstalker, but also like as a kid, I played a lot of Magic, the card game. So yeah, that to me was fantasy even more than kind of sword and sorcery movies from the time. Sure. So that's really my like subconscious influences I'm pulling from for Deathstalker, but also just fantasy films like Krull, Conquest, Sword and the Sorcerer. It's just a real mishmash of everything. Similar to my other films, I feel like my influences become so numerous and so deep that they really just take on their own personality, and Deathstalker is no different. It's very much its own movie, but I think still maintains the spirit of that franchise.
Yeah, well, I would say that, yeah, definitely for the previous work as well. I think you've been able to do that successfully with, like, I could watch Frankie Freako and know exactly what the references are, but they've been freakified, so to speak, into your own thing. It's not just a way for me to point and go, oh, it's that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like not very imaginative to just be like, oh, I like that movie, I'm going to make a thing like that movie. It's like the whole point is to filter it through your perspective, your imagination, your sensibilities. And so, yeah, when things get filtered through my brain, they definitely get perverted and twisted into something far stranger than they started out being.
And full of rubber monsters.
Yeah. Oh, nothing.
Which we're a big fans of over here. So
rubber monsters, stop motion monsters. Yeah. Weird puppets, everything's in Deathstalker, all that stuff.
I always say that any movie could be benefited by and 1 star higher if there's a stop motion creature in it. You know, whether it be My Dinner with Andre, stop motion creature comes in, like anything.
By that metric, then Deathstalker will be at least 3 stars, I think.
Okay, great.
Perfect.
We'll start there.
Yeah.
That's a good place to start.
Yeah, a good starting point.
As much as I truly do adore the high budget fantasy films that we've gotten, like obviously Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, I still there's part of me that still wants that kind of grimier, lower budget sword and sandal movie. We just watched the Barbarian Brothers movie. What was that called?
Barbarians.
Just watched that, and not saying it was great, but man, it was a good time. So I kind of want more of those to exist.
I love that movie because they clearly just let those Barbarian Brothers guys just riff, but they're terrible at riffing.
Yes.
So you're just watching them try to yes and each other, try and do improv and just flubbing it. And so it always devolves into just them making noises. They're just making
noises.
Just making animal sounds. And I don't know. I really love that. I love just the clunky shittiness of that movie. It's so charming to me.
Absolutely. When I reached out to you to see if you wanted to come on the show, I usually present or even ask potential guests what your favorite kind of franchises are, what you'd be excited to talk about. And you came in with a resounding Warlock, and more specifically Warlock 2. And we always enjoy it when someone picks a sequel, because everybody knows that the first one is usually the best. Why not? Half of the thesis of this show is getting into the sequels and finding the good stuff in them. So what was it about either the series and then more specifically Warlock 2 that you were that's the one for me?
I'd like to start by kind of disagreeing with that statement that the first one is usually the best. And I'm going to get a lot of torches and pitchforks coming after me for this one, but I don't think the first Friday the 13th is a particularly good movie, but
that's fair.
Fair enough.
I love all the weird sequels.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Hellraiser 2 is better than Hellraiser 1. That's just me.
Give me on the right day. I can agree with that.
I mean, that one, it's just such a big bonkers. Essentially, it's a fantasy film.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to other dimensions and stuff. The Cenobites become the good guys. It's taken all the big swings. Mm-hmm. So I feel there's a lot of horror franchises where the first one sets the groundwork, but it's not necessarily the most interesting to me. And then its subsequent filmmakers take the idea and run with it. Even something as recent as Saw X, I feel is the best movie in that whole franchise, because they finally figured out, hey, wouldn't it be awesome if Jigsaw was the good guy?
Right. Yeah.
And he just killed shitheads for 90 minutes. That's why I like in the world of sequels, there's an opportunity for filmmakers to find an angle where something really clicks and really starts working. But not to say that it doesn't go the opposite route, and you have like a Jaws, where it's it starts at the absolute top and then it's just a steep nosedive.
Well, I will absolutely go Gremlins 2 over Gremlins.
Oh, hell yeah. Same. 100%. But anyways, that was a long digression. Warlock 2, rewatching it a few nights ago, I just love how overshot and over directed this movie is. Anthony Hickok, what an underrated gem of late 80s, early 90s horror cinema. A guy who just, I don't know what he was smoking, but he just goes to town with weird wide angle lens shots, split diopter shots.
Yes.
Super unnecessary dolly moves, just to swing around on somebody as they're saying a line.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, he's how do I make this dramatic with the camera? And I don't know, I watch it and I get super inspired by it, because I yearn to have that kind of energy in my movies. This movie has so much energy to it. And it's you could see on the page, it could be shot and directed very straightforward, kind of flat. But yeah, he just takes it and he cranks everything up. I do really like the first Warlock. I think that there's a lot of greatness to that movie, but Warlock 2, it just is so bonkers. I can't deny how much I love it. It's just a really impressive feat of imagination for me.
Because you mentioned Hellraiser 2 being sort of a bigger, broader version of the first one. I think this works with that as well, where it's just these ideas, the first one, but they've, instead of making it more like a fish out of water kind of thing with Redfern or whatever, they just went, no, this guy's just evil and he's now, and here's all the crazy crap he's going to do, rather than worry about like whether or not someone knows what a radio is.
Yeah. Also, another thing I clocked on this movie that made me laugh when I realized it is like how you can just completely make up the logic. Like it really is like a fantasy Terminator premise.
Yeah.
Where the rules can be whatever the filmmakers want them to be. So many times during the movie, I was watching it and asking myself, can Warlocks do that? Because he just like will just suddenly have a power or do a thing that he couldn't do before. Even just like him being birthed out of that lady at the beginning. It was like, is that a power he has?
Yeah.
So, and I love that. I love being pulled on this ride where I don't know what's going to happen next. And I don't know, and not knowing what the rules are, make it really exciting and give it that kind of horror spin of like, it feels dangerous because I don't know what he's going to do next. And the unpredictability of it, I think, is really, really fun and satisfying.
Well, I think it also makes him more fun and more horrifying because he'll do something like blow up an entire shop just because a guy is in it. But then with that same power, be like, what if I tried to run him over?
Yeah.
And I just like that wide variety of stuff just because he's just having fun with it.
He's just having fun. He's just like figuring shit out. He's still like, he's a warlock, but he's still a human being to an extent. So like he could be like tricked and foiled and distracted. Yeah, I don't know. And just like so much of it rides on Julien Sands, R.I.P. Julien Sands, his charm. He is so awesome as the Warlock. It's really sad that he's gone because like a lot of horror fans, I was secretly hoping that he had one more Warlock in him.
Mm-hmm.
I would say too that the foil for the Warlock in this movie is this set of druids, and also making up rules as they go along. So it's just like, oh yeah, for the chosen ones, you have to die first for whatever reason and then come back, just because it would be cool and shocking for a character to shoot his own son with a crazy dolly shot with the shotgun.
Also, take this globe compass with cockroaches in it for some.
Yes.
Like visuals like that, I love it. That's my favorite kind of thing, because you're just like, what the fuck am I looking at right now? And it's like too late. We've moved on to the next.
Don't worry about it.
Also, the whole druid subplot, even right down to some of the score that felt a little too John Williams at times. Like it was basically a like Luke training to be a Jedi.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's a lot of montages in this movie, not only just the training, but then like them healing him from the gunshot wound that they gave him so he could join the Sacred Council of Uncles.
Yeah.
Repeatedly, just some very silly stuff, but I still liked it. Like it had this very old timey kind of feel to it. The way that like Sam Raimi's stuff kind of does. Yeah.
Well, and it was fun that the druid subplot gave like it gave this mystical angle to the movie that also took us away from, I guess, thinking of like Warlock 3, where isn't it just like a bunch of like university students in a dorm or something? It's like it gets us into characters that are at least sort of interesting and have some like gravity to them. It's not just random people being attacked by the Warlock. Like they factor into the plot in an interesting way. So I really appreciated that with this one, that it tried to have characters that are actually like motivated by the Warlock's presence and actually can stand up to them, and characters who know what's going on. I guess that's another thing I really like, is everybody actually knows what's going on, and the audience has to play catch up. That's way more interesting to me than a bunch of random people being like, oh, what's that guy? And then they have to like sit around a table and explain to him what he is. Like, I feel like in this one, they know it's the second one. People who watched the first one probably know what they're getting into. So they can just dive into it and just run with it.
Yeah. Well, and even like some of the stuff that they do, like they kind of explain it to you, but you still don't really understand why. Like when he's like, oh, if you just put the juice of this berry on this stick and I poke this leaf, that's going to kill him. And the guy's like, that's crazy. And then it works. Because why wouldn't it?
Great scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found this scroll. I think he's just like, we've been doing this for a long time, and I just found this scroll that says something about a mandrake berry.
Mm-hmm.
Try it, and it works.
Yeah, and it makes them spout like kind of black green ooze.
Yeah,
that I guess is what Warlock blood looks like. I don't know.
That scene did provide Julien Sands with a great one-liner that was something to the effect of like the gas station attendant says like, "Oh, you're leaking blood," and he goes like, "Well, let me fill up."
Oh, right.
He goes in to drink his blood.
Yes. Yeah, and that another moment of like, oh, I guess he just sucks people's blood.
Right. He can do that now.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Moving on.
I do love that the druid guys are just these like, and maybe it's just the actors that they purposely cast. They just look like random old guys in this town.
Oh yeah,
and I really adore that. Like they're distinct in the fact that they're not very distinct looking guys. They just look like, like you said, anybody's council of uncles that could be hanging out in the town.
I always appreciate when there's like actual old people in movies, especially now where it feels like there is this like stigma against actually casting distinguished actors like of a mature age. So yeah, having old guys running around talking druid bullshit is awesome to me. It's like,
right.
Yeah, it just gives everything more weight and presence than a bunch of young people trying to have gravitas.
Well, and it got me very interested. I mean, it was just activating my imagination. The fact that when the preacher like ends up coming back and joining the fold, like what was his whole deal? Why did he stop doing it? Did he actually believe in the Bible stuff, or was he like, all right, guys, this loaves the fishes. You could actually do this at home with some mulberry and, like that part of the story was very interesting to me, but they're just like, don't worry about it.
There definitely felt like, I don't know if you guys clocked this, but it felt like there was scenes missing in a few spots.
Mm-hmm.
Could be. Yeah.
Where there was like
his history,
the history of some of the characters, but also the moment where it suddenly jumps to the one old guy being tortured by the warlock.
Oh yeah.
Like there was no lead up really to that from what I remember, unless I like turned my head for 2 seconds. But
no, in fact, because I went back to check and pretty much it's just like, oh, I guess they got him.
Because they show up, like the main guy, our Luke Skywalker guy shows up in the town, and that girl is like strung upside down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's like the crowd of townsfolk. And then a character mentions like, oh, other old guy got captured by Warlock. You have to go save him. Yeah. And then they go do that. And just everything about that sequence, I was like, I feel like there was some lead up, some kind of establishment of what is happening that got axed for whatever reason. But that's like really the only part that I bumped on in that regard for the whole movie.
And at that point, like we're getting into the third act, so they might have just been like, we just need to like start rushing this along. Like we need to speed this up.
People are here to see Julien Sands go down some invisible stairs. We've been waiting too long for that.
We need that to happen.
And shoot people with finger guns.
Oh my God. So good.
I love it. I love a good meaty squib, and those had some good squibs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I love about that whole scene, and just like sort of the Council of Uncles in general, is that their whole problem is we don't have the power. When this guy comes back, we don't have the power to do anything for him. What we need is a warrior. And turns out we've got my kid is a warrior. I just have to kill him first without telling him. But then we'll train him to be a warrior. You guys aren't warriors. Why are you training? And then so they don't even have that power. But so they're like, we're just taking our best guess at this. And then when they come to confront the warlock, they're like, all right, well, he's more powerful than us, but we have something that he doesn't. Guns. And they just try to shoot him. And I love it.
Right.
Yes.
I do enjoy that they're just like, we have 3 days to train you to go up against the son of Satan.
Yeah.
Good luck. Yeah.
Drink this egg.
That's it. Run up the steps like Rocky. You'll be fine.
I did appreciate there was that ticking clock element. Like, was it like 6 days or something?
Mm-hmm.
6 days to find five stones.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, that kind of like background ticking clock element is always fun to me. It just keeps things moving, keeps the energy up. Kept cutting to the moon, like being eclipsed in a very cartoonish fashion, which I also like. And maybe is a thing that also happens in Deathstalker.
Yes. The one thing I like about that ticking clock. So he, in terms of like just making up rules, he gets birthed by this woman just because she has this stone in this very grotesque hilarious scene with the weird little placenta monster, like killing a dog, which is funny because it made me think of The Thing. And then Charles Hallahan shows up. Norris shows up later in the movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which really cracked me up. But that happens. And then the spirit of whoever brought him tells him, hey, I brought you here. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to go get these stones, or in 6 days you'll be gone. Here, for help, I'll put a map of America on this woman's skin. And I didn't realize at first it was going to go all the way to California, because the little blood trail just like goes to Detroit or something like that.
Yes,
and it was, I was like, well, this isn't going to work unless he knows where Arizona is also. So he needs that reference. But it pays off later. But man, I love that map so much.
Yes. That's the kind of like fantasy bullshit that I love in this type of movie, where they're just doing a thing to get information, and it's some weird gory nonsense, and you have to just go along with it, like, because you have no reason to bump on it, because you have no footing. You're not going to be like, oh, warlocks can't do that, because you don't know.
Yeah. And then when he rubs the scalp on it to renew it, you know, like, well, that wouldn't work. You know?
At one point, doesn't he try to look at the map, and it's like, it's got like leaves on it.
It's got leaves. Yeah. He's just had it in the back seat, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, could you have taken better care of your skin map?
Well, where do you guys keep your skin maps? I mean, sometimes it just ends up in the back seat or in the glove compartment.
Yeah, I put it in the glove box.
Yeah.
in a scroll tube.
Yeah.
Maybe he was taking cool sticks and leaves that he found too. He's, he hasn't been in this area before.
Yeah, he collects all kinds of weird shit. He's a warlock.
Right. He needs material elements.
That opening sequence of him getting birth was such a departure from the last movie in the greatest way, because I don't think that there was anything in the first movie that even rose to this level of kind of nonsense, gore, puppet effects or anything. Like in the first one, there was like the little eyeballs in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was kind of it for that type of
effect, I mean, he gets impaled by that weather vane.
Right.
Yeah. So this one was clearly such a big jump.
Yes. Like a lot of stuff was off screen in the first one, from what I remember.
Yes.
Like the part with the little kid where he takes his fat so he can fly.
Yep.
Just the way that's like all kind of done in conversation, and then we just hard cut and he's done the deed, is not how Warlock 2 would approach that scenario. You would see the whole thing start to finish.
Because I mean, everything's so big. Because even when he possesses the woman who just birthed him to get the information, he doesn't just like do a Vulcan mind meld or something on the brain. He sticks his hand into her face, like all four fingers just right in there, just to get all the information. And that is the level. It's just, can we knock it up a notch? We're going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there is an excessive amount of makeup effect stuff in this movie. I mean, I have to mention the turning a guy into an art piece sequence.
Yes.
Which rules so hard. But it's also like, you watch it and there's so many stages. Like each one of those stages is a thing they had to build. And it doesn't seem like a high budget movie to me, but that is, as an effects artist, I could tell like that's a costly thing. They clearly put their money into the effects because they were like, this is what people are going to want to see. So let's really push the limits. And I love that guy transforming and like his eye still moving at the end, a little statue.
Yeah.
Bizarre that Warlock says something to the effect of like, oh, it looks like a Picasso. And it's like, I don't think Picasso made sculptures, but
yeah,
all right.
Sure.
I'm not telling him that.
Yeah, that whole, maybe it was just this. Yeah, maybe it was just the setting, but it also, that sequence reminded me of like a ladder, like Hellraiser scene, like somebody who's like looking for something, collecting occult artworks or something like that. I don't know if Pinhead would turn somebody into a sculpture.
I mean, if it's anything, it's a Wishmaster sequence.
Yes. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. I got to say, though, my favorite of the makeup effects bits was, because it was so unexpected, was the scalp tear death. Because that was so ludicrous and so, I don't want to say unnecessary because it's very necessary.
Oh, yeah.
But just... And the Warlock is basically just suffering. He's just annoyed with her. There's no goal in killing this woman. She doesn't have a stone. He's just like, would you please stop talking about your hair?
Yeah.
And he tears it off her scalp, tosses her out the window, and perfect.
That's again a testament to Julien Sands' performance. Like, I love what a snooty aristocrat he is. As the Warlock. Like, there's he's just all class, which is a very fun juxtaposition to the horrible things that he's doing. Like, it just makes every sequence so much more entertaining because he's like playing it up and selling it. And I don't, even though the lines get hammy, like, he just doesn't strike me as like a hammy guy. Like, I don't buy any of his deliveries as hammy. He's selling it. And it's great because, I mean, the whole movie revolves around him. So the fact that he's so good really just like ties the whole thing together.
Well, and it allows him access, like when he just gets on the stage at the fashion show to walk backstage and is just doing stuff. Like, it makes total sense. Everyone's like, yeah, of course you would just be here and I don't need to call the cops. You seem like a handsome, classy guy.
Yeah, exactly. You buy it. You buy that people are kind of charmed by him instantly. Because, he's not like dressed like Leatherface. Like, he's a well-dressed, cool-looking dude. So,
yeah, he even, when he opens the door and sees what's his name from Gremlins behind him,
oh right,
or whatever, and he says like, black.
Yeah,
yes. Yeah, he's very excited about that attire that he's going to steal.
So talking about the number of effects for the sculpture transformation, I'm assuming, being a director, those are decisions you've had to make, where maybe you've had to sacrifice something like that, or like maybe the effect you wanted to do because the budget called for X, Y, and Z. Is that a tough decision to make for you, being in both worlds?
For a sequence like that, I feel like in that movie, I imagine a sequence like that is a set piece in the movie. It's like saying you're going to have a gunfight in a John Wick movie, but you can't afford guns. Like, they clearly put the money into those parts. And I mean, I've had that myself, where usually what happens is there's only so much money to do, say, like 3 out of the 5 things. Like, if there's like 5 stages to a transformation or something, and we'll do those on set, but then the other 2 stages I'll just shoot at my shop, like on my own. I'll build it myself with my own shit and do it myself. Cause
nice.
Yeah, I just like want it to look good. So
right.
Yeah, I find a way to make it happen. I'm not a big fan of being like, well, I guess we just got to cut this thing because there's no time and no money. Like, I'll find a way. There's always a way. When you're an indie filmmaker, you get resourceful. So yeah,
I know just the guy to exploit me.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's all it comes down to, is like, well, I'll make the time to make it happen if nobody else will.
Sure.
I mean, and that's the obvious benefit from being, a director with the background in makeup effects and design and all that kind of thing too. So you can just take the bull by the horns yourself.
Well, and it's also like these movies I'm usually writing myself, or even if I don't write them, like something like Leprechaun Returns, I didn't write that script, but I did add a ton of effects to it, a bunch of which I did end up having to shoot on my own at my shop. But, I add these things, or I write these things into my script knowing full well that, that's probably going to be me and like one other guy.
Right. You're like, I'm so married to this idea. I guess I can see 8 months down the line it's going to be me.
What it is it's writer Steve comfy at his computer, like sipping his coffee, being like, I'll just write every cool thing I can come up with right now. And then 8 months later, depressed, tired effects Steve is cursing writer Steve and being like, why did you write this sequence? Now I got to do it. Whatever. I'll forget in the next movie. I'll do the exact same thing and be like, I did it again. Shit.
Right.
But I do want to point out that I actually have worked for one of the effects artists on this movie, Paul Jones, who has his own company, Paul Jones Effects, up in Toronto. Recently worked for him a little bit on What We Do in the Shadows. He was the key effects artist on that. I actually messaged him telling him that I was watching this movie, I was just saying how awesome it was. And he said it was basically just him and 2 other guys on set for it, Bob Keane and a guy named Steve Blandino. He says, who was like a local guy, shot it like in and around Los Angeles. And it was just like nonstop. He makes it sound like it was just like somebody was usually in the shop prepping gags while somebody else was on set doing the effects, and then they'd swap out. And the other person would go to set with the next gag while somebody went back and built a new thing. So, it sounds like a pretty like a pretty nonstop adventure, but an adventure nonetheless.
Is that the same Bob Keane from Hellraiser and Nightbreed?
Yeah, so Paul started working like early in his career, started out at Image Animation working for Bob Keane. So I think I don't want to misremember this. Paul may be messaging me after this drops to correct me, but I believe that Hellraiser 2 was like one of the first things he worked on. And then he came over to the US to work on, I believe it was like Hellraiser 3 and Warlock 2 and a few other things. And then, he made his way up to Canada and he's been there ever since.
Oh, I was just going to ask, have you had an opportunity to meet a lot of the effects artists that you've been a fan of as a kid, like some of the people that maybe made you interested in this?
Yeah, I mean, like the bigger guys I've met at places like Monster Palooza, like down in Burbank, I met Steve Wang, who's one of my favorite effects artists of all time. Like he worked on Predator and then did effects and co-directed the first Guyver and directed Guyver Dark Hero, the second Guyver.
Nice.
Yeah, he's like one of my favorite effects artists of all time, and he's super awesome. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like it's hard for me to really even like pick my favorites. One that I'm sad that I never got to meet though was John Buechler, who did Ghoulies and a lot of Empire Pictures productions, some Full Moon stuff. He directed Friday the 13th Part 7.
Yeah.
And also, more importantly, Ghoulies Go to College, one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yes.
Yeah, and he sadly passed away a few years back, so I never got to meet him, but he's always been a huge inspiration to me. Just because he's on the scrappier side of the effects community where he does a lot of budget stuff, done a lot of Corman movies, like he did the Carnosaur films. And he's a guy, one of those guys who like you say like, well, we have no money, but we need a big dinosaur to like puppet. Like he'll figure it out, and that's inspiring to me because I feel like that's exactly what the situation I'm stuck in, where it's like, well, we need 10 monsters, but we can afford 2. How do you make that? So, yeah, his resourcefulness has always been an inspiration to me.
Yeah, I think he did something in Dungeon Master.
Yes, I believe he did all the effects for Dungeon.
Oh, okay, because I think like yeah. Because we were both big fans of that movie as well.
Oh, that movie is awesome. I mean, that's like, isn't that the origin of the phrase "I reject your reality and substitute my own"?
It's got to be. Yes,
pretty sure it is.
Got to see that on the big screen here in Portland last year at the wonderful Hollywood Theater.
Oh, that's awesome.
They had a 35 millimeter of it, and it was gorgeous. So
which version was it? Was it the Rage War or was it Dungeon Master?
It was Dungeon Master.
Okay,
at least that's what it said up top. That's how they advertised it and everything. But yeah,
okay, because I know there's at least one rip of it that I have. Is the title is Rage War, and it has that like extended opening dream sequence with a bunch of nudity.
That's right. Yes.
That serves like no practical purpose to the movie.
Gets butts in seats.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's that like HBO logic of like your first episode, put all the nudity. So everybody is like, oh, this will come back. Right. And then show. But yeah. Love Dungeon Master. It rocks.
Absolutely.
Well, that's a good segue into the fashion scene, because there's a lot of just sort of pointless nudity in Warlock 2.
Yes.
It's just a way for that. Like, well, we have all these models. Let's use them for something.
Yeah. Let's have them either dropping or raising their tops at convenient moments.
And I got so excited when they show just the exterior shot of the obvious miniature. Yeah. Yes. That just made me so happy.
My wife and I, we were watching this movie and we both at the same time were like, oh, miniature. Like the movie makes no effort to not make it look like a miniature. And it's so satisfying though, because you're just like, oh, cool. They built a thing. That's exciting.
It just felt very much in the tone of the rest of this movie that it would just be that it's this sort of very theatrical kind of thing, and it's not afraid to wear that on its sleeve. Yeah,
theatrical and not afraid to be imaginative, like to take big weird swings. Like there's no hesitation in this movie. It just goes whatever's like the hardest it can go. That's the way that it goes.
I mean, lest we forget the carnival scene.
Oh, right.
That part both fits and doesn't fit with the movie in some ways to me. I'm just like, it's almost like he just wanted to write in a carnival scene, or he had access to carnival shit and was like, well, we're just going to do it here. The spirit of the movie certainly lends itself to, but it does feel like a little bit of a detour, but I'm not mad about it at all.
That part is so weird to me because like, I don't fully understand like what Warlock is doing. So he's like opening up a mirror dimension that the guy is trapped in, but it's like kind of a purgatory hell place. Like there's like a big pullback shot of like cobwebbed up skeletons riding a train. And it's like, so what was that? Like,
I don't know, but that was definitely one of those cases of we're only going to see this for 1 or 2 seconds, but we're going to build it.
Yeah.
And it added so much to that sequence.
Yeah, but I honestly like got my Hellraisers confused because I was like, what is the deal with this guy and Hall of Mirrors? But that's in part 2 where there's a whole weird sequence with that. But I don't know if the idea is that dimension is always there and he can just access it. Or he just like built it specially for that guy. But I also like that. I mean, you're trapped in there now. You could clean that place up. You got time.
Yeah.
Just get rid of some cobwebs. You got a place to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like if
see where
the
that train
idea
goes.
is he's trapped there forever.
Yeah.
Then, might as well make the most of it.
Yeah.
That did feel like another like Wishmaster kind of punchline to a sequence as well.
Right.
Which, I mean, I'm not complaining. I like him like doing kind of monkey paw shit to people.
Yeah.
Just to fuck with them.
Yeah.
Man, in a better world, we'd have a Warlock Wishmaster crossover like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is a versus that I think those two universes could fit together pretty well. Unfortunately, no Julien Sands.
You would have to explain the 2 George Buck Flowers, but I think you could do it.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that would be great.
Yeah.
I was going to bring that up, like his like brief cameo like in the crowd, right? At the townsfolk.
I thought there was going to be more with that, but no, that's it.
Yeah. But again, it's like that was at that moment in the movie where it felt like something was missing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
And that only enhances that theory to me because you'd think you'd bring him on to do something more substantial than just say one line.
Sure.
So
yeah,
I don't know. A waste of a Buck Flower. By
the end of the movie, so they're raising Satan. This kind of digital effect for me still worked. It's and you obviously know far more about maybe they did mixed with some practical or was that all digital, but it still looked so cool to me and it didn't look like a cut corner or anything like that. And to me, it's interesting that they saved a big digital effect for Satan himself and just looking all like weird and glowy and otherworldly.
I was trying to figure that out because I don't think that was a CG thing necessarily. It looked like they built a suit and and it was just some kind of like inverse photography to make it glow or something. Because just the way it moved was too it was old too guy in suit for me to think that it was CG. But
especially considering the knife, the knife was their level of CG at the time too that we saw.
Right.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, all the crystals and things flying around, like that was CG, and then the knife, of course. But that demon, the like Satan rising up, I'm pretty sure it was just like after the fact, kind of like film processing effect that they did on the footage to give him like that weird glowy outline. Which I was a little disappointed in that because I wanted to see what that suit looked like.
Sure.
Because clearly they had to build a thing for it. And they were like, well, this will make it look better. And then kind of smeared some shit over it. It reminded me of did you ever see that late 90s Beowulf movie with Christopher Lambert?
Not all of it, only bits of it.
Yeah.
There's like the like Grendel monster in that is a creature suit and a very cool looking suit, but they like put like a wavy CG effect over it when like bad CG smoke, and it's extra infuriating to me because I want to see the suit and to be like, no, computers are better is like such an obnoxious decision to make after the fact. So that moment made me think of while watching.
I do love, like, speaking of the sort of the low budgetness of this and just sort of what you can get away with. I do like when they defeat the monster, how it's just like the way things are better now is that it's just a blue filter that just slowly gets removed from the camera as it's panning. It's just so simple, but it worked. And I don't anymore now when I see stuff like that, I'm like, oh, that's cool how you got around that.
Yeah, I thought it was totally effective. Like, you see exactly what's happening, but you're like, this is telling the story in a perfectly simple way. I didn't feel like it was a cheat. I thought it was kind of impressive that they went that route. And I think again, like with the sort of like knowingly theatrical this whole thing is, it's like it's fine. It doesn't always have to be like completely real, or you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be as one-to-one as necessary. You can have it be it's a movie. It's okay to be a movie. Yeah. And this movie, especially being an Anthony Hitchcock movie, I feel like there is extra latitude to be more like overtly cinematic, I guess. I was reading that there were bits about this. I didn't get into the specifics, but that there were bits about this that he wasn't unhappy with, that he was like, oh, I wish I could have done this and I wish I could have done that. But I mean, I'm sure that's true of most projects anyone works on, but like, this all works for me. I had a ton of fun with it. Yeah. Now, the question I have for you guys is, which do you prefer, Warlock 1 or 2?
At this point, I'm 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'd only seen 1. And so I really liked 1. In particular, I really liked the ritualistic magic in 1. I thought that was really cool. I'm glad they got rid of it in 2. For the movie that 2 is, I'm glad it's just, no, he's just going to do this now, because it is so much fun. It's bigger, it's wilder. I'm a 2 head all the way.
When the opening card came up giving us the background about the druids and stuff like that, I just took a photo of the TV and sent it to John, and I was like, well, I'm just sold. Yep. If you got this weird fantasy bullshit about druids fighting Satan and stuff, like, done. So I also hope that Deathstalker starts with a card like that at the very
Otherwise, beginning. That's losing a star.
I mean, okay, so we're at 4 stars now. I think.
Yes. It's about to become the first 6-star movie. I'm very excited.
I know. Right.
I'm glad I'm already preemptively checking all the boxes.
I mean, I am a man of simple tastes in a lot of ways. And so, yeah, that plus a big beefy dude with a sword running around, I'm going to be pretty happy. So
I hope this movie's only 5 minutes long, and it's those things.
Yeah, it's those things. And it just loops for 90 minutes. But it's all there.
So you've been in Europe with this thing at a few film festivals recently, haven't you?
Well, our world premiere was at Locarno in Switzerland, the Locarno Film Festival, which is a fairly snooty, prestigious film festival. Not the place I would expect a Deathstalker to have a world premiere at. But yeah, it went over super well. Everybody was really into it, which I wasn't expecting. Again, it's a very like fancy festival that's more catering to art films. But yeah, I think people were just in the mood for the kind of wackiness that I brought to the table. So yeah, it went really well. And then the next one is Fantastic Fest in Austin. And that's the one I'm really excited for, because I know that's my audience. Like almost all my movies have premiered at Fantastic Fest. So they're familiar with me. The crowds know who I am and they know what they're getting into. So I'm real excited for that one.
Oh, that should be a lot of fun.
Was this a case of you knew that Deathstalker was available to take a crack at, or was it a like, man, I've always wanted to make a fantasy film and I've got my own ideas, I can put them into this? Like, how did that kind of come about?
I mean, I think it was a little similar to Psycho Goreman, where I just had all this pent up creative energy for a very specific kind of thing, which was the fantasy genre. Again, I had been playing Hexen a lot. And so I was just in the mood. I was like, I want like weird fantasy occult shit and monsters, fighting monsters with swords, and just kind of like that sort of period set vibe was just really appealing to me. And one day, some producers I know mentioned that they had access to a chunk of the Roger Corman library. And they're like, anything on there you want to take a stab at? And I opened up the list and I just went right down to the D's and it was just like, Deathstalker, that's what I want. Because I mean, yeah, I also like have a long history with those movies. Just as a fan, like Deathstalker 2 is one of my favorite movies. But also in the early Astron 6 days, like the first thing that we made as a group was a fantasy web series called Goreblade that was basically a Deathstalker parody. Mm-hmm. And that's really where our little collective started. And our film careers were born out of that collaboration. So it's a little bit of a homecoming in a way, like things coming full circle and ending up back at Deathstalker and really like closing the book on that and being like, now I've made a definitive Steve Kostanski fantasy movie.
Did you get to work with some of the Astron 6 people on Deathstalker?
Yeah. I mean, if you watch the trailer, you can see there's 3 of them in there. Yeah. Adam, Matt, and Connor are all in there. So yeah, if anything, this movie is just like a tour through Astron 6 land. Just the way it's hilariously paced out through the film that they just keep popping up. So it was great to be able to involve those guys. They're always a good time, and all their characters are great and crazy. And I got to torture each of them in a different way, which I love doing. Yeah.
The most you can hope for.
A lot of your movies to me, I mean, they seem just so damn fun to make. Now, I'm well aware that there are many, many challenges and long days and that kind of thing. But especially with these more recent ones, do you have a specific like memory in your mind of like when you were standing on set surrounded by monsters in rubber suits and stuff like that and being like, God damn, this is fun. Like, is there any, like, whether it be Psycho Goreman or Deathstalker or something like that?
There is a very specific moment in Deathstalker, a very pivotal hug that happens in the film between Deathstalker and a certain monster character. And as it was like the scene happened, and then when I called cut, Chris Nash, the director of In a Violent Nature, who I had on set working as an effects artist, is a good friend of mine. We work together all the time. But Chris Nash, after we cut, like this absurd moment playing out in front of everyone, he's like, well, if you didn't know we were on a Steve Kostanski movie, now you know. And that was a really satisfying moment. Just
that's wonderful.
Having it was like a very silly moment, but a very heartfelt moment in the film. And I think that's just something that I like to do, is I like absurdity mixed with genuine emotion, because that's what real life is to me. It's just like one absurd thing after another. And you get through it by just being with the people you care about and supporting one another. And so that's just like a concept that permeates all my films. And that was that moment in Deathstalker. There are a bunch of moments throughout that are like that, but that's a very pivotal one. So yeah, that's a nice memory that I'm going to carry with me for a long time.
Stay pure of heart to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, like you don't want to lose track of why you get into this stuff. And it's very easy to do that. It's a very chaotic and hellish industry full of lots of really awful people. So you can get beaten down and torn apart very quickly, very easily. But moments like that ground you and bring you back to, why you're doing the art in the first place. So
making movies with your buds.
Yeah, that's really all it is. No matter what the scale, whatever the budget, that's always what it ends up being. It's just me and my friends having a good laugh, being creative, pushing our imaginations to the limit, constantly trying to one up each other to make a scene crazier and more interesting. And just having fun.
Before we let you go, you did mention In a Violent Nature. And so can you talk a little bit about your role in the effects there? And especially if you want to talk about, which I'm sure you already have before, but the one big kill in that. Not the one big, but the one we're talking about.
I mean,
yeah.
Because that movie was shot multiple times, I was on set for the first version. So when we did that version, we didn't even get to that yoga death. I built everything. Like what's in the movie are all the effects that I built for the film. I just wasn't able to be on set for a bunch of them on the subsequent redos of the film, if that makes sense.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it was fun building everything. I would argue that sequence seemed a little overbuilt at the time, but I think looking at it now, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense that we had to do 3 different full silicone bodies for this girl to have her effectively get impaled and then like punched through the stomach, impaled, and then her head pulled through her stomach. So yeah, I mean, I'm very happy with how it turned out. So much of that is just a testament to Chris Nash and Pierce Dirks, the cinematographer, how they shot it. Nash is an effects artist himself as well. And so, you know, it's always fun to collaborate with him because we both are on the same page about that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was fun to be able to like figure out these crazy gags and then, yeah, figure out how best to execute them.
Yeah, and you said that you weren't on set for that one, but do you know how many takes they had to get that right? Like, how, did you present them and be like, "You got one with this, guys"?
I mean, honestly, anytime I talk to Pat Baxter, who's my effects friend who was on set for it, all he talks about is how bad the mosquitoes were, and like you couldn't like open your mouth without them going in your mouth. It was so bad. So yeah, it's like he doesn't even get to like the actual shooting of the effects. He just complains about the bugs. So
that's man.
Based off of that alone, I can tell you it was probably a hell nightmare, and I'm kind of glad I didn't have to be there for it.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Having said that, though, like I just got back from week 1 of Violent Nature 2, so I'm going back. Nice. I'm going back next week for another 10-day stint on set. So yeah, I mean, if you like that yoga kill, you're going to get more of that kind of stuff.
Excellent.
I was going to say
out of spoiler territory, but there's plenty more where that came from.
Up in your game for the sequel.
Oh yeah, you have to.
So as far as personal projects, do you have anything on the horizon that you're thinking about working on, like a courtroom drama or some other genre you haven't tackled yet? Or
I mean, I got all kinds of stuff I want to make. Like making Deathstalker was really tough and took a lot out of me. So right now I'm kind of just focusing on my family for the next few months, at least. Like the Deathstalker release is going to eat up a bunch of my time. Also, like so much of the work I did on Deathstalker was not paid. So I'm also just working in effects right now to stock up my bank account. The hope is to line up a project for next year. But for now, I'm bouncing between. Today I was working on Violent Night 2 stuff for that, the like Killer Santa action movie, then Violent Nature 2, just to keep the titles similar and confusing. And then, yeah, I've been doing a little bit of stuff on Star Trek Starfleet Academy, a little bit of stuff on Jack Reacher. I got a stop motion set going behind me. I'm doing some commercials for a video game, some stop motion commercials. So, yeah, I'm keeping busy.
Nice.
With effects stuff.
Good.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
The fun never stops over here at Kostanski Central.
Well, we always trumpet over here. This is it may be a fun job, but it's still a job, and you take jobs, and you know it's still a working person's business.
Yeah, I mean,
it's for the most part.
It doesn't matter how fun it is. It is work and it's effort and it's exhausting. Like last week was all night shoots for Violent Nature 2. So like, you know, your body does. You know, as I age, my body likes that less and less and less. So it's getting harder and harder to bounce back from that. So yeah, it takes a lot out of you. It's tough to balance, but I'm doing the best I can with what I got.
There you go.
Thank you for taking that valuable time and talking with us about Warlock 2.
Hey,
yeah, exactly.
I will take any opportunity to champion this movie. I love it so much. Like rewatching it the other day, I was like, yeah, this movie still fucking rocks.
It's great. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you brought about 2 new fans coming on the show on this one.
Well, I can't wait to hear you guys cover Warlock 3, which I don't want. It's certainly not a step up from 2.
Well, just the little bit that you've said makes me think it's going to be a lot like Wishmaster 3 to tie that together again, where it's like, oh, it's on a college campus this time. And
so did you guys do all of the Wishmaster movies?
We did all the Wishmasters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you find
Stuart's on the first one? Actually, yeah.
What? Just real quick, what was your take on the 4th one?
There are elements of it that I liked. It, you know, it's one of those things where it's like the budget really hurt it because, you know, but I liked what they tried to do with what they had. I like the idea of like these other Wishmasters that were like in the fire realm or whatever.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That.
And then like that they actually like they completed the like he completed his quest. He did what he set out to do. I thought there were some neat takes on it.
Yeah, it's like a weirdly interesting premise for a straight to video sequel. Like, and I totally agree. Like the budget hampers it, but every once in a while I go back to it because I'm like, there's just something kind of interesting about this movie. Like just the idea of the guy being wheelchair bound, and then like it's the monkey's paw scenario of him, like kind of getting his ability to walk back and all that. Like I don't know, there's just like just interesting ideas in a movie that almost doesn't deserve to have interesting ideas.
Sure, yeah.
Well, that's one of those things, like that's half the fun of doing this podcast is like we go through, like I may have gotten to Wishmaster 4 without this show, but like it kind of makes you go through all these movies, and we're big fans of like picking out where those good things are instead of just like slogging it off as like straight to video type of lesser films. Let's find that good stuff in there.
I think you had mentioned to Jim that you liked some of the later Hellraisers as well.
Yeah, because I was at a perfect age for when those sequels were coming out. Like I was just out of high school. I was like so into Hellraiser. So the idea that there's just like a Hellraiser every 6 months almost. It was just, I'm eating good tonight, even though I wasn't.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, like I like Hellraiser Inferno because it's like there's just, again, interesting ideas. I think it's like fairly artfully done for a straight to video movie, dipping into like David Lynch level weirdness at times. Like it's a movie that is cinematic and atmospheric in a way that a straight to video movie, especially of that era, typically isn't.
Of that era.
Yeah.
Right.
And even comparing it to like some of the later sequels where they really drop off, I don't know, it just seems like way more of a movie than you would expect it to be.
Sure.
Though I love that it's the one that at the end Pinhead shows up and is like, this actually isn't my fault at all. It's all your fault.
Right.
Like he basically absolves himself of responsibility and is like, you actually got trapped in one of those Jacob's ladders I've been hearing so much about.
Right.
But yeah, I like that one. I kind of like 6. 8 is absurd. But I like that, like, was it like 6, 7, 8 were all other scripts that just got turned into Hellraiser movies.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, though, like speaking of Anthony Hitchcock, I've never really warmed up to Hellraiser 3. I feel like I should love that movie, but I don't think his style and Hellraiser mix at all. I don't think you should be putting a wide angle lens on Pinhead. It does not look good.
Yeah.
He deserves a classier way of being photographed. And
to me, it's Pinhead. Pinhead's been fired. So Pinhead's just off doing his own thing and he's bad at it. And so I think that this is like, that's kind of a fun version of that. But yeah, like stylistically, some of the choices don't mesh as well with the sort of the Hellraiser ethos as
well. It's like also kind of weirdly around the same time, it's sort of doing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 Leatherface thing of like, what if this horror character, but like heavy metal a little bit?
Yeah.
Just to see if that mixes, and it does not mix with Pinhead as much as I want it to, as much as that seems like a great idea on paper, for me, it does not mix at all.
Pinhead is definitely less is more with that guy.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
Since we are a franchise podcast, the last question that I wanted to ask you is, though I absolutely want you to keep making original ideas, what would be like the franchise that you would want to take a crack at? I know you've done Leprechaun, but is there another one out there that would be, I mean, I'm talking anything from Aliens to Wishmaster.
Could it be something that is maybe a franchise in other mediums, like a video game?
Sure.
Because it will always be Doom. Always. That's always.
Oh, it's a movie.
I mean, there are 2 not very good movies already, but like since I was a little kid, I've dreamed of wanting to take a crack at that. I know that I'm the right person for it.
Yeah.
I'm like programmed perfectly to dial that into exactly what it needs to be, and I'm just waiting on the opportunity for it. It never happened, but I can dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. And will you have a first-person shooter shot at one point that you have to duck into?
Well, that's the thing is, like, I feel like there's fun ways to cheat that without overtly doing it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You can have perspectives that evoke a first-person perspective without having, like, the gun in the bottom left corner of the frame.
Right.
And I think that would be half the fun, is figuring out, like, how do I... And I think it's the fun of a video game movie, too, is, like, how do you evoke the spirit of playing this game without it just feeling like you're sitting and watching somebody play the game? Because that's a problem people always flag with video game movies. Is like, well, when it's good, it's just me watching a cutscene from the game.
Yeah.
And, you know, I feel like there has been stuff like Last of Us that has pushed beyond that. So I think there is room now. Like, I feel like video games don't quite have the same stigma anymore for adaptation.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's really just like finding an interesting angle. What I like about something like Doom, at least the original game, is there's not much there. There's lots of room to expand. So I just, I want to do something where there's room to let my imagination run wild, and I'm not locked into some expansive lore that all the fans are going to be like, actually, it's supposed to be like this thing here. It's like,
Sure.
I think my strength is making up weird universes and weird logic to my universes and exploring bizarre corners of Freak World and Gygax and Abraxian, the kingdom in Deathstalker. So, yeah, having the latitude to do that with whatever the franchise ends up being is super important.
And Doom seems like it should be a little fun, too.
Right.
Yeah, well, fun in like an Evil Dead 2 kind of way.
Yes. Yeah.
That's how I always imagined it, is like, it's just one guy getting shit on for 90 minutes and him fighting his way through that and just finding inventive ways to torture this guy while also giving the wish fulfillment of him being able to fight back and do cool things. But it has to be both. It can't just be unstoppable killing machine guy killing demons. It has to be guy getting fucking wrecked by demons and then coming back.
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah, figuring out that dynamic, I think, would be super fun.
Heard it here first, folks. Stephen Kostanski's Doom. We can look forward to that in 2030.
2026, I bet.
So,
probably.
Yeah, I think it's we'll fast track. When who's it? Warner Brothers, I think, owns it right now. It's like when they hear this, they'll fast track it.
Yeah, we know people.
There'll be a Fantastic Fest, I'm sure, so to see Deathstalker, and then they'll be like, "What do you want to do next?"
I mean, I'll try every time I have a movie that gets a little bit of traction. I get to have those conversations. I try, so I will be trying.
Excellent.
And if not, then Wishmaster versus Warlock. That's what we can also.
I mean, I honestly don't know what's happening with either of those franchises, so it's entirely possible that they're up for grabs.
Yeah,
totally. All right, Stephen, well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us about Warlock 2 and Deathstalker and all your other films. It was a real pleasure.
Is there anything else you'd like to plug?
Yeah, your Patreon, anything like that.
Right, yes. Kostanski's Krypt, my Patreon, where I post pictures and videos from all my past work, but also I've been doing interviews with other effects artists.
Oh, nice.
Little tutorial videos. I've got a tutorial on head melts that I put up a little while ago, how to do like gelatin face melts. So yeah, if you're a budding effects artist or just are interested in my filmmaking process, that's the place to go. Or you can go to my Instagram at Kill Kostanski, where I also just post photos and things from my movies, and it's mostly updates on my upcoming projects and where they're playing and where you can see them.
All right, everyone. Well, fire up your DVD or Blu-ray of Warlock 3, and join us back here in a couple of weeks where we talk about the third and final Warlock movie. And go check out all of Stephen Kostanski's movies. A couple of them are on Shudder, correct?
There's a bunch on Shudder. I've realized a good chunk of them are on Tubi for some reason. I don't know who put them there, but they're there.
Right.
So, go check them.
I bet that's how it is for a lot of movies on Tubi. Just like, who put this here?
Yeah.
But guess I'll watch it.
It's free. It's accessible. To me, it's just important people get access to it so they can enjoy it. So
great.
Go for it.
All right. Well, you are welcome back anytime. And I know that I can speak for John and say we can't wait to watch Deathstalker.
Absolutely.
I'm very excited.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for having me. That was super fun. And I can't wait to hear what happens with Warlock 3.
We'll let you know for sure. All right, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
This has been a Caretaker Press production. It was produced by James Strayer and edited by John C. Myers. Logo by Ethan Kimberling and music by Michael Arthur Holloway, who you can find on Bandcamp. Follow us on Instagram at thismayhurtabitpod and email us at thismayhurtabitpod@gmail.com. Give us a 5-star review over on your favorite podcast app, and we'll see you next time.